Hello everyone. I wanted to just touch base with you once again to wrap up term one and give you a little bit of a head start about what will happen in term two. Today you will receive a communication from myself and from the Chair of Council to give you some information. I know that we've had some queries about what will the financial management of the college look like going forward. One of the primary purposes of the communication to you is to give you some feedback on that. We know that term one has been a challenge for everyone. We are living in truly extraordinary times. And if you had said to me at the beginning of this term, this is what the end of term one would look like, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But I have to say that despite those challenges, the staff and the students and obviously parents have risen to those challenges. We hope that term break will mean a good rest for everyone. I think we all need it, and I hope that that's an opportunity to rest, to reflect on the term that was, to reconnect with family and friends as best you can, but also to recharge. Now, term two commences for the students on Thursday, April the 30th. That is when remote learning will recommence. The staff have been given 2 pupil-free days, the Tuesday and the Wednesday, to prepare again for the remote learning that will take place. You'll be pleased to know that the co-curricular program is relaunching in term two. Mr. Paul McCarthy has been working tirelessly with the staff who run the various programs to see what breadth and scope of offerings we can bring to the girls to keep them highly engaged, as that is such an important part of our college. So there will be more information on what that actually looks like right at the beginning of next term, with a sign-up day for the girls. And we're hoping that with careful scheduling, they may in fact be able to engage in more co-curricular activities than they have been able to in the past. We do value your feedback. Tomorrow, a survey will be coming out to gain your thoughts on remote learning and what it has meant for your daughter and probably for you too. We are also keen to get staff feedback and student feedback that will help us guide the direction that remote learning does take in term two. I think it's important to acknowledge that remote learning can look very different, and I'm well aware that different schools have implemented different modes of remote learning. For us, that doesn't necessarily mean that a student is seated in front of her laptop for 6 periods a day, 5 days a week. That probably would not be a good idea. So remote learning, whilst it may look different at other schools, doesn't mean it's any less effective in the student learning. The learning will continue to take a variety of forms, even in that remote space. The really important thing for the students to realise is that when we do eventually get back to school, we will have to authenticate their learning whilst they have been learning remotely, and that will be a really important part of assessing their progress, their understanding, and where they are at. So girls, you have to stay with the learning and stay engaged to ensure that you are actually progressing with your learning during term two. Now to the Year 12s, this is just a special message for you. I had the privilege of having a WebEx lunch with the Year 12 boarders yesterday, and it was just so lovely to reconnect with them. I can't underestimate the impact of isolation that can be felt with remote learning, so the need to stay connected however you can, whenever you can, is really important. I do encourage you to look after your health and well-being. Obviously, that's important for all students, but I know that there are extra pressures that the Year 12s feel. So staying well and healthy, keeping up your exercises, staying connected with friends and teachers is very, very important. And we will get through this. We're not sure, of course, what the end of Year 12 will look like, but one thing I do know is that the Year 12s of 2020 will not be disadvantaged in any way in determining your post-school pathways. The authorities are very mindful of the fact that there have been disadvantages through remote learning and that not all students have the same opportunities. So If anything, I think that this is probably a good year to be looking at your university or post-school pathways, simply because of that acknowledgement that this has been an extraordinary experience. So stay focused, keep your learning up. The authentication will be especially important for you when we do all get back to school. The financial management of the college, I know that is obviously a talking point amongst the independent schools in WA at this point in time. Please take the time to read this message from the Chair of Council and from me on this important aspect of the college's operations. Hopefully it will clarify for you where we are at and show you a pathway forward as well. Tomorrow is the last day of the term. Chaplain Claire has prepared a really lovely Easter message that will be available across all of our social media platforms. It is important as a School of the Uniting Church Faith that we acknowledge the Easter period. We are in Holy Week now, and I think it would be a lovely way to take some time out for reflective thinking at this time. I think that's probably all that I need to share with you. If things change dramatically in the next 2 weeks, of course I will be in contact again, and we look forward to seeing you all back in term 2. Thank you, everyone.